struck me regarding this election in the States was what is happening with NGOs, George Soros, who looks like a wax dummy caught in a heat wave, his support for Hillary Clinton, the alleged financing of these fake popular protests after the election through numerous cities in the States, with these what appeared to be miles of buses that were used to transport people into these fake, contrived, bought and paid for what turned out to be riots. In some cases, in the end, was described as such in the legacy media, corporate media. And who knows, maybe they were described that way to try to convey this ultimate importance that Donald Trump shouldn't be president and would better reconsider and maybe anoint Hillary the Empress, as I think Mike Vero called her. I can't help but think that is there a possibility that when Donald Trump gets in office, because I'm pretty sure he's going to, they're trying some shenanigans to make sure that the Electoral College votes aren't there for Trump. But I think it's going to happen. He's in there. With what has taken place with George Soros backing Hillary Clinton financially, with the apparent alleged backing of George Soros of these populist uprisings after the election, it caused considerable damage, considerable expense. Isn't it reasonable to think that subsequent to Trump getting in office, he's going to hunt this guy down? I mean, why would, with Trump taking on the elite media, the entrenched elite government, both Democrat and Republican, corporations, special interest groups, pretty much everybody except for the people that supported him, which I was one of them, to be perfectly frank with you. Even though I'm up in Canada, I think this had more than to do with just the United States. This was, as people like Stefan Molyneux were saying, this had as much to do with Western civilization as to do with just the United States. Why would Trump just kind of, give George Soros a free pass when George Soros and his fake foundations have already been expelled from Russia? And who went to his rallies and said to the massive crowds that he had, wouldn't it be good if we got along with Russia? Wouldn't that be a good thing? Well, of course, that was Trump. So it just seems to me that if you've got a new president in Trump that is certainly making it look like he's quite prepared to get along with Russia. Russia and the United States, I think, should be working together on many fronts. Economic fronts, military fronts, combating terrorism to prove that the whole terrorist meme is a construct by people that don't have our best interests at heart, like George Soros. I can't see why Donald Trump wouldn't go after this guy. I mean, he's not living in Russia. He's not hanging out in Moscow much these days. If I'm not mistaken, he's floating around somewhere in New York. I know he's in the States somewhere. Apparently has quite a lavish digs somewhere in the States there. Why wouldn't he go after Soros? Soros may have a real problem on his hands. Maybe this is why you're seeing such endless pushback on the election of Trump that is obviously created in the media, and it continues to be pushed in Washington, D.C., still trying to push this meme that it's Russia. Russia got Trump in there. Trump didn't get in there because he was drawing 20,000, 25,000 people at his rallies right across the nation. No, it didn't have anything to do with that. According to Elijah Cummings, it's all Russia. I just think that when Trump gets in there, I think Soros may have some real problems on his hands. I think this goes back to how important this election was for Western civilization, because you may be witnessing the eventual combined effort on behalf of Russia and United States to hunt George Soros down and get rid of this hideous blemish on the face of humanity. I think that there's a distinct possibility this guy might be done for. I think there's a possibility that Trump will go after George Soros. He will go right to the heart of a lot of the problems that we're finding right now in Western civilization, and the constant pushing of the false song of globalization, as Donald Trump himself put it. President Trump, I guess I got to get used to saying. And that is what President Trump said. Something along the lines, paraphrasing possibly a bit here, but we will no longer sell out the American public to the false song of globalization. And I mean, who is the biggest purveyor of globalization on this planet? None other than crooked globalist George Soros. Crooked Hillary, crooked George. They're one and the same, two peas in a pod. They're globalists. I think Trump might go for it. After wreaking havoc with the Bank of England and the British currency, England has had enough of Soros. After expelling Soros and his fake foundations, Russia has certainly had enough of Soros there. Now Soros is in the United States, having backed the flawed candidacy of Hillary Clinton, helping a Democratic Party go rogue, and backing fake foundations like Black Lives Matter and MoveOn.org. Sorry, Soros, but I think you're done.